Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dave TV for the 9th of April, 2012. Don't have the camo pants on today, but what the heck. This is one of the few days of the year I don't wear camo pants, believe it or not. We're rocking out to the Doors. And what are we listening to the Doors on? Gamut. 103.5. Gamut. Cool station there. They're one of our advertisers, by the way. So, gosh. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, I can't figure out what I'm doing here. Oh, no. Okay, there. Move this window over here. Move this window over here. And there's the ad. Okay. There we go. Fire! The Gamut. WTOP's HD3. Everything from A to Z and a few things outside the alphabet. Really cool station. Check them out. You need an HD radio to listen to them. It would be nice if they would put them on a regular radio frequency, like maybe an AM or something. You know what? Maybe they ought to just stick them on an AM, or they ought to buy a cheap little AM or somewhere in daytime, or just slap on the Gamut. At least give it some more exposure. But really like a lot. It kind of reminds me of the old HFS back when they were on 102.3. Fire! Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. This isn't Sprite, by the way. This is water.
A quixotic blend of melodies certain to please the palate can be found right here at the Gamut.
Very cool. Reminds me of the old WHFS back when they were on 102.3 and the early days on 99.1. Just a crazy mix of stuff. All very cool. So do check it out. The Gamut, 103.5's HD3. Did I say HD2? I meant HD3. If you go to the HD2, you're going to hear WFED. And by the way, WFED just won a website award. What they win an award for? From the National Headliner Award for their federalnewsradio.com. So you have WTOP, all news on 103.5. You have WFED on 103.5's HD2, which is also 1580 and 820 AM. And then you have the Gamut on HD3 of 103.5. So check it out. One of the good reasons to buy an HD radio is the Gamut. Love it a lot. Also some interesting stuff. What somebody told us here, we're hearing some interesting voices on WNEW, the new all-newser. Greg Tantum. Anybody remember Greg Tantum? I was driving around, I think it was Saturday or something, and I flipped down to 99.1, and there's Greg Tantum reading the news headlines. I'm thinking, Greg Tantum, oh yeah! Wasn't he one of the guys that did programming for the old Washington Post radio? You know, remember that? Remember the old... what was the call? I can't remember the call. Remember when 107.7 and 1500 AM were Washington Post Radio, WTWP, something like that. And that was back in 07 or so. And it lasted about a year, and then it went down the tubes. And then Bonneville took the signals and flipped them over to that talker 3WT for a while. Remember they had David Byrd doing one of the mornings or something on there? That was interesting. But Greg Tantum was the program director for Washington Post Radio and 3WT over there. And... he was a nice guy, but it was interesting to hear Greg Tantum doing the news reading on 3WT. I'm also told that Jeff Wyatt is also doing some newsreader stuff at WNEW. Somebody said he sounded like a blundering Captain Kirk. He used to be the program director of Hot 99.5 years ago. So anyhow, I think WNEW is probably trying some new voices on there, I guess, trying to get some traction. So, we shall see. Anyhow, the Gamut there. When they put a vocal song on, I kind of, it gets hard to talk over it. Right? Cool thing in Washington Post yesterday, if you get the Sunday paper, in the little magazine section, turn the radio up. There's a nice little selection of some of the radios that are on display over at the National Capital Radio and TV Museum over there in Bowie, Maryland. Really cool little piece there. If you haven't seen yesterday's paper, check it out. There's a oatmeal box radio. It's really cool stuff. So anyhow, if we flip over to DCRTV's front page again, like we just did a minute ago, and we'll see. Oh, my goodness, there is a... where is that ad? Oh, I'm on the mailbag. Dummy me. It's on the front page. I'm like, where's that ad? I thought it was here. It's on the front page. So let's go to the front page of the fast-loading DCRTV.com. Oh, yeah, Arch Campbell bought an ad. So check out the Arch Campbell show. This leads to his website over there on TBD.com, where he has a really cool media blog, lots of cool stuff. Check that out. One of the few reasons to go to TBD.com these days is Arch Campbell's blog. But anyhow, one of the ads, there it is. We're going to have a really cool Titanic disaster and how radio played a part in the Titanic disaster. We know we're approaching the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic. That was 100 years ago. That was 1912, wasn't it? So anyhow, that's going to be in Bowie Library there on the 14th, and at the Laurel branch of the library there on the 5th, and really cool stuff. So check this out. And a really cool place over there. Go and check the Radio and TV Museum over there in David Bowie, Maryland. David Bowie. Home of the Junks. Home of LBD. A lot of radio greats from Bowie, Maryland, believe it or not. Okay, very cool stuff there. I'm keeping this page in my archive for someday. What else? What else am I going to rant about today? Washington Post. You know, it's just a lot of advertising for the. This was yesterday's Washington Post. The big cover thing there, with all the gnats on it, and more gnats, and then you look here, and there's more gnats on the front page, and more gnats at the bottom of the front page. I don't know, man. I guess, you know, they got to make their money, and it's probably the only advertiser in the whole sports section. Well, okay, there's a chainsaw ad on the back. There's not a lot of, there's almost no ads in the Washington Post sports section anymore. So, yeah, I guess it's good to have the Nats advertising in the paper. But, you know, it's like you're covering this team, and they're spending a whole lot of money on your advertising in your paper. That's not going to affect your writing, is it? Nah. You know, I remember when Comcast was merging with NBC, they had the merger approval out there, and there were a lot of ads in the Washington Post from Comcast saying, what a wonderful day, what a wonderful day it will be when we merge with NBC. And, you know, and the Washington Post kind of did a lukewarm editorial on it, you know, and they very careful to not get Comcast mad in their coverage, I thought, you know. So anyhow. Also, what I've been checking out these days, good friend of mine, you know, a guy named Michael. The guy's got an incredible amount of stuff. Old records, old DVDs, tapes, VHS tapes. You know, we went over to the Goodwill store here in Herndon. I'm not in Herndon. No, I'm not in Herndon. I'm in Reston. But next door in Herndon, there's a Goodwill store, and we went over there and picked up some VCRs for like $3, $5, so we could watch some of these old tapes. But a lot of cool stuff. And we're going to start up a cool website. Well, we've got a couple pages floating around there on the website right now on DCRTV, but I'm thinking about doing something really cool this summer where we're going to get into some really cool vintage video. This is one of the things I've been watching lately, the Dean Martin Variety Show. This is fascinating. Do you ever remember Peter Sellers was a guest on the Dean Martin Show? And there's like a 15-minute comedy bit he does. Bizarre and brilliant, but I never knew that Dean Martin was... Peter Sellers was a guest on the Dean Martin Show. Really cool stuff. You know, a lot of this Dean Martin Show, I don't even think they did with a live audience. You know, I really think a lot of it was just canned laughter and canned applause. It really looks like it was done on the relative cheap back in the late 60s. And, you know, you have young Rodney Dangerfield up there making jokes, and young Bob Newhart, and really cool, very cool Joel Grey doing a big dance number. And cool stuff here. Get your hands on this. Check it out. It's pretty neat. Okay, folks. We're having some dropouts there on the WTOP HD3. I don't know. What's the other big news going on these days, huh? Nothing. Nothing's happening. There was a couple things. JC Hayward. Sad news. Ms. Hayward, who's been at Channel 9 for 40 years, just announced on a Friday show that she has diagnosed with breast cancer. So We love JC. She's Washington. Imagine not only spending 14 years on the television dial here. Imagine spending 40. Not only spending 40 years on the television dial, 40. You spend 40 years at the same station. I mean, who else has spent 40 years at one station? There are probably a few other people that have spent 40 years in the radio TV biz in the area. Maybe Don O'Brien and a few other people, crazy Paul Bicknell. But to be 40 years at one station, that's pretty wild. That's JC Hayward. So all our best to JC, and I hope she does well and is here on this planet for many more years because she's a cool person. All right, folks. And another death we're hearing about, is Bill Stabler. Passed away suddenly on April 7th. Bill, we're told, and I remember Bill. He used to be on, remember when Big had a cool morning show? Sorry, Tommy Griffiths. Remember, Big had a cool morning show way back when they were Oldies 100, and I believe Bill did the morning newscasts on Big, and many years he was heard on WMAL. So we'll have more information on Bill Stabler, but he was a true news great in the Washington radio market. So there. All right, folks, that's Dave TV for today. That's all I have to say. We're hitting the 11.5-minute mark. Thanks for watching. Check us out at DCRTV.com, and also check us out on our Facebook page, which we have a lot more. If you like DCRTV, there's a whole lot more on the Facebook page, facebook.com/DCRTV, where we put lots of other media news, not just Washington area stuff. Like today, for example, we have the Greek news anchor being hit by eggs. So it's really cool stuff like that. And don't forget to help us out in our fundraiser. Still looking for about $4,000 more in our $10,000 spring fundraiser. So any amount helps. Big, small, whatever. Check it out. Thanks for watching Dave TV for the 9th of April, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2012, whatever this year is. And so there.